Ow. Alright, today we're going to do a brake job on a Cruze, 2011 Chevy Cruze. There's no fun stuff on the Camaro this time, just hasn't worked out, but I do need to do brakes on the car, and it's a nice day out. So everything you need to do front brakes on a Cruze, and pretty much any car for that matter, but for the Cruze in general, obviously you need a jack, you need a jack stand, you need tire iron, you'll need some metric sockets, a 10, a 15, and possibly 19. 19 would be for the lug nuts themselves, but you need a 10 to 15. Main extension, you'll need a T30 Torx bit. You may need a breaker bar. You will need something to hang your caliper. I got an old clothes hanger there. You need some brake caliper grease, some brake clean, and some rags, paper towels or something. Torque wrench, which you may or may not need depending on where you live, would be some form of hammer. I usually like a rubber mallet because it's not too terribly loud, and a wire brush in case your rotor is rusted on. Same thing for a screwdriver. Okay, also obviously you need your brakes. So I went and I was going to get brakes. I checked out both AutoZone and O'Reilly's, and just for the rotor itself would have been 102 bucks. You know, so multiply that by 2, then get pads for another 50 or something. Go to Rock Auto if you need anything, and they sell this whole thing as a kit minus these. But the Power Stop ceramic brake pads and 2 Power Stop rotors, these are the part numbers, shipped to my house, 120 bucks. They have an economy set that would have been 93 bucks shipped to my house. So go to Rock Auto first before you get anything else. And then I found out after the fact that the caliper mounting bracket bolts are torque to yield. So I went and I picked up these at O'Reilly's. That's the part number there. These are 8 bucks a pop for 2. So I had another 16 bucks of that. So for about 135 bucks, you'll be able to do your own brakes and save yourself about 600 bucks. So I'm going to now jack up the car, pull the tire off. I'm not going to show you that, but then I'm going to set the camera up over here, and I'm going to change out this side in real time so you can see exactly how fast and how easy it is. Okay, just to give you an up close, that Torx head bolt right there is what you need the Torx for. That's it. Hopefully you won't be an issue where that strips out or snaps off. You may have to drill it out. It's probably going to be an issue that's more dealt with people that live in the north, where you get a lot of salt and rust and stuff, maybe at the beach. The 10 millimeter bolts will be right here on the top and bottom of the caliper itself for the caliper slide pins. You'll have to pop this cable or the brake line out of this bracket here, so you're able to pull the caliper out, pick it up, and hang it up off of the coil, something up here, because you don't ever want to let a brake caliper hang and dangle just from the brake line itself. It can cause it to snap. Right here, there, and down below are the 2 bolts for the brake caliper mounting bracket. Those are actually 18 millimeters stock on the car, so you'll need an 18 millimeter as wrench, 18 millimeter socket as well. And then the replaced ones I have, which hopefully are the same thing and the correct part number, are 15 millimeters. Also, what I didn't mention, which is not necessary but is totally necessary, gloves. It makes cleanup so much easier. All right, let me get you sitting down here. We'll just go right at it. Hopefully you can see there best you can. Try to prop this up a little bit more. Actually, much better. Okay, I'm going to start by taking out this Torx bit. Let's hit that ratchet extension. Dogs are barking. All right. If for whatever reason this bolt breaks or you lose or whatever, it doesn't matter, it's fine. All it does is hold the rotor to the hub tight while you're messing with the brakes. If you lose it, that's no big deal, because the actual wheel itself will hold it on. 10 millimeter pop this brake line out of the way. Slide it up nice and gently. Break loose caliper slide pins. I apologize if I cough at all throughout this. It is springtime and the pollen is killing me. Like absolutely destroying me this year. 10mm caliper bolt. Make sure you have everything where they need to go. You guys still see? Okay. Alright, now if you were just going to change just the brake pads, which anytime you change brakes you might as well just change the rotors, especially if you get the whole kit, but you would just remove the bottom, loosen the top, and you can pivot the whole caliper out of the way. Since we're changing out everything, the caliper needs to be moved and needs to be hung out of the way. So when those are loose, caliper slides right off. Then we'll take, you have to finagle this depending on what you're using to hold it up as to how you're going to get it up out of the way. Like I said, I got this old clothes hanger here. Make sure you got hands on it. Alright, it's up out of the way, we should be good to go. So now, you need to take, you pull out your brake pads right here. This where you may need a screwdriver if it doesn't slide right out. Get pretty worn down, time for a change. 115,000 miles on it, so it's not terrible. Screwdriver. Alright, that's out. Take note that the squeal tab goes on the inside of the car on the wheel. That's out of the way. Now this is where it could end up being a little bit of a struggle because these 18mm bracket bolts in the back here are torqued down to 74 foot-pounds from the factory. So you may have to cheat and use a breaker bar. Depending. Yep. It's pretty tight in there. I'll grab the breaker. That one's broken loose. This one here. Should be enough for ratchet. Okay, let's compare that. Just double check. Okay. So these new bolts are direct replacement. So these, you should not reuse them. You can if you're in a pinch, but they're torque to yield. So that means anytime you tighten it down and you're torquing it, they stretch. GM has this hard on for using these things for whatever reason. But once you use it one time, you get pretty much got to junk it. So don't worry about keeping those. But again, if you don't take off the caliper bracket and you're just changing out the pads, you don't have to worry about it. And as you can see, I will not need the mallet to get my rotor off. I put a lot of Loctite on this thing from the factory. Okay. Caliper mounting bracket out. Areas you will need to grease. We'll pull these pins out, clean them off, grease the pins. These shims, depending on what brake kit you get, I'm assuming you see this, yeah. Depending on what brake kit you get, some may come with the shims, some may not. The kit I have came with the shims, so you can pop these out. You can use a screwdriver for that if you need to. As you can see, the wheel go flying. Safety third. Move that out of the way. Rotor's off, chuck it. Don't need it anymore. Now here, if you live up north, for sure, or somewhere there's a lot of stuff, you'll see you get rust around here. Car coming by, hang on. Take a wire brush, clean this up while you got it off. This is going to be situational dependent. Mine really isn't that bad, but just because I got the brush, clean up a little bit. Okay. Old bolt out. So now, those are out. Let's take a rag here. Wipe off the excess brake dust. Okay. Right here, this it's like a kind of like a suction cup thing, slides over, pull it out, brake pin. See that? It's got grease on it. Grab a new rag. Clean it off. Then take either the brake grease that comes with the kit, or I just have this big thing of CRC brake grease. Coat that bad boy up. This is what allows the caliper to slide in and out. Because it's a single piston caliper, it only pushes from one side. So you want to make sure it's free flowing, moves around easily. Slide it back in there. Clean up any excess stuff. Slide all the way in. Pop the boot back on. Clean it off. Load that up nicely. Slide that back in here. Slide it in. Get any excess if you have any excess. Move it out of the way. Pop the boot back on. Give it a little twist. Give it a little twist. Good to go for right now. Set this to the side. Now we'll grab our brake rotor. Brake rotor comes in a bag. It comes in a bag because it's covered in cosmoline to keep it from rusting. You need to clean this off first. If you don't clean it off, you will have terrible braking performance for who knows how ever many miles until it actually burns itself off. So what you want to do is pull this out and get yourself your can of brake clean. Blast it inside and out. Hit the brake clean. Wipe it down. Outside's done, or inside's done, I should say. Flip around. Blast outside. Dry that off. Rub it along the edge if you want. You can use a rag. I use paper towels, easier to get rid of. Take it. The rotor's good to go. Now you see this hole right here that lines up with the bolt that holds it on, that little Torx bolt. Take it, slide your rotor on. You see as it's rocking like this, that's the only reason that bolt exists. Oh, I bumped you again. Oh no. Okay. Take it, slide it in. Alright. Just get snug, that's all you got to worry about. You don't want it too tight because you don't want the fuse in case next time you can't get it off and then you got to drill it out, which is a giant pain. Okay, so now that's done. So now we got our caliper bracket. Before we put that back on, we'll take the brake kit, we'll take our new shims, pop 2 of those in there. Slide it in, pop the tabs on, it'll center itself up. It's nice and easy. Centered, centered. Take the caliper bracket, slide it back over the rotor. And the hard part here is getting the bolt holes to line up. I got that one in there. Slide the other one on the bottom. I don't normally wear hats. If you see me wearing a hat, I had a really bad hair day today. So, wear the hat. Okay, so now these new ones are 15 millimeters, so grab my 15 millimeter socket. I'll tighten them up. Make sure you tighten. Snug it. Snug, 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 snug. That top bolt I need to use extension on. Pop in there. Alright, now take your torque wrench. These need to be torqued down too, 74 foot-pounds. I do not go straight for torquing it to the full spec. I'll start at something else. So here I'll start at 40. I'll make sure they both hit at 40. Alright, that's 40 there. Not a lot of room in here. Then I'll twist up to something else, let's call it 55 or so. Five. Now I'll twist it up to 72. Get the final torque on there. There. No room on this bottle. There we go. Okay. 72. Those are good to go. Run the torque wrench back down. Okay. Now we need our 2 new pads. Remember, we have one that has a squealer tab on it, one that doesn't. Squealer tab goes on the inside. Squealer tab on the inside. So, take the brakes. I'm going to take a little bit of brake grease, put it here on the edge where it slides in the shims. Here. We want to make sure we don't put too much on it so that it would end up getting on the face of the pads and the rotors itself. Then I also too just like to put a little bit here on the back where that rubs into the piston on the caliper itself to keep some noise down. So you just slide this in. in the tab. It can be tricky sometimes getting the tabs to line up. Screwdriver. Here's the problem with new tabs, though. Or new shims. Come on. All right. Don't want to edit out the frustration here. Struggle is real, people. There we go. There's a little detent on that shim that was holding me up. Same thing with the outside pad. A little bit of grease on the ears. A little grease on the ears. Do a little bit on the outside. That is in there. So one thing I forgot to tell you at the beginning is we need something to run that piston caliper back. I'm going to use a C-clamp. Let me grab it real quick. You can use several different things to run this back. They make special tools, the calipers themselves, to run the piston back. You can also do it with channel locks. If you do a channel locks, you gotta be careful and make sure you don't screw up the piston sleeve there. Need a good point. Take your an old brake pad here, set it on top, get the clamp out of the way. You just turn it down. Take your time, twist the piston back in. Yes, I did cut myself. I got a boo-boo. Back. Once you get the piston always seated, just loosen it up. Take that off. Take that out. Slide the piston or the whole caliper back over the brake pads. Probably have to push the pins back in since we took those out. Take a moment to dry up some blood. Then you take your two 10mm bolts. Line up the caliper. On the pins. I just drop one of the bolts down in there. Stuck in the back of the caliper. Pretty much the hardest part of the job is just getting stuff to line up. Alright. And these get torqued on much lower. I'm going to snug it up first real quick. The 10mm. Okay, so now these only get snugged up to 21 foot-pounds. So, get your torque wrench back out. You can go ahead and set this one straight for 21. Just get it there. Line up. There's 21. All right, 21 foot-pounds. That's it. Pop the brake line back into the bracket there. Then repeat on the other side, and that's all it is to changing your brakes. Now this brake kit recommends that you actually bed in your brakes. Some people say do it, some people say not to do it. Just follow the directions. It's really easy. It's just pretty much driving up to 30 miles an hour, braking back down to 5 miles an hour, and do it several times until they kind of the new pads seat to the rotor and kind of get a little groove action going on. But that's it. So you just put your tire and stuff back on and then repeat on the other side. Okay, this video, Acadia front brakes. So I already did those like not even 2 years ago. They're already pretty much worn down. Don't get AutoZone brakes, they suck ass. And that was the Duralast ones. Brake pads. Okay. Brake rotor. Where's my brake? There. Caliper, bracket bolts, they're torque to yield. Oop, they fell out. Those ones that come in the car from GM are torque to yield. Gotta get rid of them. So yeah, we're gonna pull them off. Do it in real time. Should put my gloves on. It's not supposed to rain today, but it looks like rain's coming, and that's no good. So have the caliper bolts back here. I'll pop those off. They are 13s. I feel rain. God damn it. I'm not complaining about getting rain. It's been dry as hell. It's just I'm complaining about it showing up when I need to do this. Goes out. I pull the caliper out of the way. You're gonna need some way to kind of support the caliper up. I have old clothes hanger here. Hopefully it should be strong enough to hang it up, because you don't want it hanging on the brake line. Up out of the way. Pad out. I got a screwdriver for this one. Then you have 21 for the stock caliper breakables back here. Yeah, you can rotate the wheels out if you need to make it easier on you. Do I have a 21? Let me get some more larger sockets. As with everything, power tools make stuff go faster. Caliper breakable. Verify new ones are correct. Don't get these new ones, they're too short. Rocco will screw me up. So we'll reuse these ones because that's what I have at the moment. So need to return those. Pads it away, hang on to the pad because you'll need it. Just go ahead and move the caliper out of the way so you have a little torque bit right here that kind of holds the rotor on. So 27. So this torque bit isn't super important. If you happen to lose it or if it breaks off, no big deal. That just kind of holds the rotor on while you're getting everything together. The wheel actually holds the rotor on completely. So open up the new one. Get a nice pedal. fresh new rotor. Make sure you got yourself a can of brake clean handy and a rag, because these rotors are coated in stuff called cosmoline. Keeps it from rusting. And it also means too that they're covered in grease that will screw up braking performance for a while, if you were to just try and drive and burn it off, and it will be a very bad idea. So clean it up. My rag. You know, I plan these things out, but then I forget half the stuff. Okay, hang on, let me grab my rag. I could edit the searching out, but where's the fun in that? Get the front side. Okay, gonna pop this on. Line that torch bill hole back up. And there's no, you don't have to run this down too tight. If you run down too tight, you risk it getting stuck for later on. So just snug it up so the rotor doesn't move. All right, that's it. So now, let me check and make sure these pads come with new slides. Okay, so I got the new slide brackets here. So go ahead and pop the old ones off the caliper bracket. I'm hoping I got this lined up so you guys can see everything I'm doing. So these should be the same on both sides. Sometimes I have a different layout, so just make sure you pay attention to when you're going to install them. Phew. You want to make sure that these are all centered up on here. You don't want to have any of this tab overhang into the bracket, because then that would wear onto the rotor itself. Alright, then you have right here, you have your caliper pins. Go ahead, pop the little boot off, pull that out, because we're going to take some grease, some brake caliper grease. We're going to put some on all over the pin. So that it slides nicely. Don't need to go overboard with too much though, to where it's falling off. Pop that back in. Make sure that the boot, there's a little detent here on the caliper pin. Just make sure that boot sits up over top of it. If the boots are worn out, replace the boots. You want to keep dust and dirt out of there. So put the boot down, pop it off, pin out. Grease it up. Back in there, pop the boot on. Annoyingly, since those bolts are the wrong size, and I will be getting my money back, I'll have to reuse these ones because I already got the car part. And if you have a torque wrench big enough, or yeah, which you more than likely don't because you're doing this at home, this would be 120 something foot-pounds like that. Alright, turn that up. We're good. Alright. The truth is, most people don't torque those down anyways. Get the grease off here. Yeah, it's 120 something. I'll have music playing over this. Make it sound all magical and whatever. Okay, so now we can take our brake pads. Pop it open. Generally, the squeal tab one goes on the inside. And I got grease on there. God dang. Okay. I do want. Give me right after this. I'll take a little bit of grease and put it on the ears here to help it slide in those brackets. Not trying to load this up because I don't want it to get on the thing itself. Before I slide the caliper on, I'll also put a little bit on the back here for the piston slide. Take this, pop these in the brackets. You may have to fight with the detent a little bit. Check the front side. This is one of the most annoying issues when it comes to this, is trying to get these back in the bracket. You have these detents to fight around. Get grease everywhere. When you get new gloves, I'm totally greased up. Hang on. I need to start buying some of those powder infused gloves or something. It's ridiculous. Turn my grease towel inside out. Okay, so put it in here. Oh, sorry, sit down. Put it in here, underneath kind of this little springy tab thing. There you go. So you see these spring parts of this tab, that's to make sure that the when you release the brake caliper, they kind of push themselves off so they're not dragging on the rotor, wearing them out sooner. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do. And again, those are about the hardest part. Okay, so those are on. So now we gotta put the caliper on, and we can't put the caliper on until we run the pistons back. So I have a C clamp. They have brake line specific tools and stuff, or caliper specific tools for stuff like this. I'll have one obviously, so I'm using C clamp. C clamp works fine. Dual piston caliper, so you take one of your older brake pads, put it here. Sit on top of the caliper, help you out. There's the rotor. Just we'll slowly twist this back, and it'll be some resistance. And I'll go grab another one to help. Like I said, they do have caliper tools to do this, which I'll probably invest in one someday. Right now this works. This works really well when you got just single piston calipers like the back of this or any other car. When you get into multi-piston stuff is when it gets a little more challenging. Back, and like I said, don't ever hang your caliper on the brake line so it doesn't destroy it. guys should be able to see this whole time, I hope. If not, still loading the video. And you can, if you find this too difficult, which it shouldn't be, depending on how you're doing it, you can always open up the top of the brake fluid reservoir to let some air out, or to, yeah, help relieve some of the pressure inside there. I haven't ever found a need to actually do that. A dab of grease on the back of the pad here. Push your caliper pins in and turn them so they slide in like that. We do have a flat side on them. And the flat side too is used to put a wrench on if for whatever reason you can't get the caliper nuts out. Now, if you were just changing the pads and not the rotors, you would loosen up this nut a little bit and take the bottom caliper nut up all the way, and then you just swing the caliper up and out of the way like this, pop the pads out, put the new ones in, and close this down. But more than likely not, your rotors are going to be kind of chewed up, so. And these are 247 foot-pounds. We have a torque wrench big enough for this. I'll have to upgrade to a 1/2-inch one or something. There you go. All right. And that's it. That's your how you do disc brakes on the front of any disc brake car, really, but this is for the Acadia or Traverse or Outlook or Enclave. So that's your one side done. Go repeat it on the other side. Put your wheels back on, and then before you just go start the car and drive away, pump the brakes up to make sure you get the caliper pistons to come back and get some pressure to where they need to sit, so you're not like wondering where your brakes are when you first go to hit the brakes, because there's a hydraulic system that needs to be get the pressure back in it. But there you go, that's it. Great job for an Acadia. All right guys, see you next time.